Hi students, in this video I'm going to quickly teach you how to write context for your evidence. There's two big parts. First, there's step one, which is big C. This relates to the general background. What was happening at the time, who was the leader, how did he rule like. And then it was the little c, which is what was happening at the exact source of your evidence. So who wrote it, why, where, when, what was happening at the time. So it's very detailed. So let's go ahead and look at a student example, and I will model this. So here I have an evidence from the Mexican Constitution, but like I said, I need to first make this into a context. So this is all bullet points. Now we're going to actually write this as a context piece. I usually separate mine to big C, little c, and then I'll delete these little parentheses later on. So you can do that now too to make sure you're doing both parts. So for big C, you're wondering what was happening during the general time period. Well, I know that 1917, there was the revolution happening, and that the people were under the leader Porfirio Diaz. So, and they were not very happy. So here's some big context information I can include. Let me look at my sentence starters. I can look at key information about the time period, leaders, revolutionaries, and laws. I can use any of these. I might use this first one. Let me copy that and move it here. All right, during the 1900s, because this is when this is happening, or during the revolution, the Mexican citizens were unhappy living under the President Diaz, who ruled as a dictator. This oppression led to the citizens rebelling against the government. So this is like big picture, what was happening politically and how they didn't have any voice. Now we gotta go little c, which means what was happening right here when this document was written. So a lot of times, some of you guys don't have all this information. So like this student here doesn't have who wrote it. So we need to actually go to the source and let's see if we can find it there. Hold on, I have access right here. Oops, one moment. So when I go to this source, I see this long document, and it doesn't tell me who wrote it. I looked all around, it doesn't tell me, but it just says it's Constitution of Mexico. So if I don't know who wrote it, what do? I can Google it. So let me copy this to see if I can get it from Wikipedia, because a lot of times I might be able to find it online. So if I go and Google this information, and here we go, I Googled it. I found the Constitution right here. Let me click on it. So remember, I'm trying to find out who wrote it and when, where, why. Okay, it says right here, and I could use my Scribble if I want to. So let me open my Scribble, and I can start highlighting as I read. So let's see, it was drafted in this place by who wrote it? A constitutional convention, so kind of like a group of people who came together. It was written during the revolution, and it was approved by the Congress, and it gave people social rights and new political and social backdrop, which is kind of like the rights. So I see that it did not allow people to still sell books that are not allowed. So that's interesting. But it led to the new reforms, which means like it changed things, and new economic rules. So again, I'm trying to figure out who wrote it. And I think if I usually, when you go to Wikipedia on the right side, it kind of tells you the location, author, and all this information is very important. The Constituent Congress, because it tells you when it was written, what was going on. And I know what was going on in 1917 because I've studied the revolution. But if you don't know, what I would suggest is I would do, to know exactly what happened, I would write timeline, of Mexican Revolution or your revolution. to know more of like what was happening year by year. So let's see. So you can look at a timeline. I'm looking at a timeline right here. 1917, the Constitution is towards the end of the revolution. Right before that, Pancho Villa had attacked the country. So you can see how the timeline helps you understand what was going on at the time. Also, the Constitution happened during Carranza's presidency, so that's important too. This graph is also important because it tells me who was president at the time, Carranza. It tells me who was against the president, which is Zapatistas, Huerta, Carranza. All of these are really, really important for me to know. So since I just found out who was president during this time, I should probably include that in the Big C. So when I go to Big C, in 1917, Carranza, who was a revolutionary, was president of Mexico and tried to pass new laws and rules to help bring more rights to the people. So now we can do little c. Who wrote the Constitution? Let's go ahead and pick a sentence starter. So I can write this one. The following evidence was written by. So the following evidence, which is coming down on the bottom, who's it written by? Is written by the Constitutional, let's get their names again. It was right over here. The Constituent Congress of 1917. And if you don't know who those are, I would click on it to find out. And I know who they are, who are a group of people who came together to draft new laws for Mexicans and fair laws for all Mexican citizens. They wrote the new Constitution of Mexico that stated, comma, and now we can have the quote. So I don't need all of this anymore, so I could delete it. And I could make this pink. And so now I have my big C and my little c. And I have, let me do a quick check. Do I have everyone that I need? Do I have here's the author, the date, the purpose, and the name of the title, if there is a title. Okay, so if this helped you, you can go ahead and now click on context to see some more sentence starters and help you write your context.